welcome to VoltsMonster Awards Edition. So this is a special edition. If you like what you see, press the subscribe and ding the bell and all that sort of waffle. We have 16 awards that we're going to give away, and we'll give the highlights of those. There are some really interesting cars in there. Following on from our reviews and all that sort of stuff, on VoltsMonster Interactive this week we have Jason Monsterio and we have the Pirate. How are you, boys?
Really good.
Cosmic.
Really good. You back?
Sorry, I should say, how are you, boys? Because a train went past and my window's open, so probably couldn't. All you could hear was a train. So try again. How are we, boys?
Cosmic.
Really good.
I take it we're going to do some news this week, are we? Have you got anything interesting for me?
Who do you want to go first? Me or you, Pirate?
You go first, Jace.
Okay, so let's just take it straight to China.
Bear with me a second, I better find it.
Get story up.
Let me just pull the story up.
China.
It should be this one. So the cunningly named BYD Yuan Pro. Is
Number
it
one?
Juan? Juan.
That's what Annie calls me. She goes, Juan, come here a minute. Can you piss off the toilet seat?
But it's obviously got the word EV at the end of it because no one knows what it is.
Just
in
case you couldn't tell from the rest of it.
Yeah. So what is this?
Let me tell you some things about it. So the BYD Yuan, whatever you want to call it, is a really super budget EV. Absolutely rewriting what can be done for such a small amount of money, really. So this little thing here costs between $12,000 and $15,000 after the government grant available in China. And for that, you get a 10.1.
So hang on, just to put that into context. So $12,000 currently is about £9,000.
Yeah. And that's going to get you an EV with all the basics, all the safety features you'd expect. This particular model doesn't have the side airbags. Obviously, it coming at a cost. You've got to save money in some places. But it has all the usual that you'd expect from an EV. It's got 401 kilometers of range. I'm not used to using the American system.
Can I just make a little observation, right?
Go on.
Oh, apart from I've just tipped tea over my keyboard, which is always a good thing. So I'll just shake my tea out my keyboard. I have literally tipped tea in my keyboard. But anyway, little observation. I think they might have been up to their old tricks again.
Oh, look at that.
Does the BYD Yuan, Pro EV look suspiciously like?
Looks suspiciously like it.
A Ford EcoSport.
Headlights are literally the same.
Well, the EcoSport, which is like another Ford niche too far, also originally came with a wheel on the back. Which so does the BYD Yuan.
Oh, look at that! Look, yep.
Ooh. Close to a cop.
Oh, well, wrong one.
You're gonna story.
Yeah, interestingly, the doors are the same shape. So, Mr. China, that might seem like a little bit of copyright infringement. So that won't be coming to Europe then?
I guess not. No.
But if the Chinese could make something original, we might actually buy it.
That is cheap, though, isn't it? 12,000 for an EV.
Oh yeah, look,
cheap, yeah.
£9,000 for an EV, which has got how much range? Do we know?
101 kilometers.
410 kilometers.
What's that?
Yeah.
250 miles.
250, 300, yeah.
So that's the same as our I-Pace.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And for they're using their latest batteries on this well called Blade batteries that are least flammable batteries when pierced as well as an extra safety feature on
Is
there.
that because
Okay.
it's so crash resistant?
It doesn't look like it, does it?
Look, I'm being a little bit cutting, but it does look suspiciously like a Ford EcoSport niche too far. I just don't understand with the Ford EcoSport, and this is a slightly different topic altogether. Why do I need a Fiesta that's that high with a wheel on the back because you couldn't be bothered to design the boot properly and so ugly? It just looks a bit weird. It's like it's sort of sold as a car that's supposed to be fun and funky for the cool kids, but I don't know any 18-year-old who'd want to buy that granny
Want to be
wagon.
seen in that?
Not a single one.
Look, they even sell it in sort of aged racing gold.
Gold. That's the colour you get when you finally reached your 65 level pension. That's the colour that you get.
Yeah, well, everything in your life becomes beige, and it's obviously like a disease. It's sort of, maybe it's a precursor to Alzheimer's. Maybe when someone buys enough beige, you then realise that they've forgotten what life
They've
is.
forgotten what life is like.
Age killed me.
So maybe I've just come up with a new way of diagnosing Alzheimer's. So basically, when someone goes out, buys an EcoSport in beige, and or even better, in China, goes out and buys a BYD Yuan Pro EV. Why is it Pro? What would be professional about it? Unless it's like some sort of thing that hookers go round in. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you know the answer to that question, message below.
Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah, please let us know.
What I did, what is interesting, right, in this particular article, which I have just noticed, it says, on the exterior, BYD did an excellent job with their Dragon Face 3 design language. So if Dragon Face 3 design language is basically stealing Ford's designs, I wonder what Dragon Face 2 was. Was it like stealing Lada's design language? And will Dragon Face 4 be stealing Jaguar's design language?
Like the actual logos.
It's not their design language. I think they even stole the steering wheel by the looks of things.
Steering wheels looked at, yeah.
It looks suspiciously Ford-like. EcoSport. Let's go interior. Oh look! Ford interior. BYD interior. Ford interior. BYD interior. So basically, they stole the entire car. Well, BYD, your design language, which you've stolen from someone else, is brilliant in many respects.
Fantastic.
You gotta
Nice
love
one.
them, haven't you? The Chinese are so nice, aren't they?
Yeah. Amazing.
They're so efficient. They don't even have to think about anything before they do it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. That's really cheap. Amazing.
Let's hope they use better design language in their military equipment.
They need a new translator.
The one downside of this is obviously we do a bit of country bashing occasionally, and has been known. And in this instance, I don't think I'm going to be allowed into China anymore, so I'll add that to the list.
Yeah, super cheap.
Super cheap, super stolen, and but the cheapness is amazing because if they can do it for £9,000,
yeah,
they're either doing it because they get children to build it, which might explain the little picture in the background.
In the background,
So they have their own toys at work. Um,
I never thought that.
or they just are totally subsidised by the Chinese government and obviously
like-
just given foreign capital just to squander on cheating. But anyway, one of the interesting other things, sorry, I've just noticed here, it says compared to internal combustion engines, electric cars are often seen as expensive and experimental transportation for the rich. Where? Anyway, because I thought in China actually everything for EV was actually subsidised anyway to such a degree that they're encouraged to do it, otherwise no one can breathe. So, but yeah, look, top marks for ingenuity. I look forward to Dragon Face 4. Next.
You may as well literally just go on to my other story, given the fact that it's pretty much.
Oh, look!
What's that?
So Jason Monsterio has found an anus, sorry, a Urus copy in China. So does that look suspiciously like a Urus?
Not the same colour or anything, is it?
Is this their like pigeon face design language?
Face.
But it does come with a full suite of 27 safety technologies.
Fantastic.
I can't believe this.
What do you want?
Old.
What's a traffic jam assist? Does
I
that
don't
sort
know.
of, like-
Maybe it just
They just
helps
them
you
right
sit in traffic
and then
jams.
just blast over everybody. Monster truck wheels. that's a traffic jam assist. You just drive on top of everyone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it has got decent wheels for an EV though, James.
Yeah, for actually, very good point. It actually has quite cool looking wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I think they're better than the Urus wheel, which is a bit dull.
I think the copyright laws in China are far too loose in communism because this is just getting ridiculous now.
Well, let's just sort of Lamborghini.
You got these factories spending thousands on design, and then you just come along and just mug
So
it
that
up.
here is the Urus, and here is the anus, or whatever it's called. Oh no, sorry, so it's called Airways. Which your anus is a sort of airway for some people. Oh dear. Actually, look, it's not a complete rip-off. Actually, it is more unique than the BYD Yuan
It's
Pro
definitely-
EV.
They've given it a little bit of design attention.
They're literally using the same yellow.
Well,
it.
look, a lot of car manufacturers do sell the same cars in the same colour as each other because they just give them different names. They're not unique. So yeah,
Apart from beige, which
they
is
have
just
picked a sort of
beige.
Lambo yellow. It is true, but you know it's not so. Where's the back of it? There's the back of a Urus. There's the back of an Airway.
I've not heard great things about Urus anyway, to be honest with you.
Well, there's a man who drives one locally to us who pulls up outside, and he always drives like a tosser.
Yes.
Given we live in a cul-de-sac, he drives down the cul-de-sac at about 80 mile an hour in it, which sounds very nice. And I always go, oh, that's that Lamborghini. But I also follow that with, and he's a tosser. And the thing is, it's not because he drives a Lamborghini, because actually, he's done well. It's just because he drives like a prat. It's a bit like Lewis Hamilton. He drives like a prat half the time. But, people try and blame other reasons as to why he drives like a twat. I just think he's just a twat. So, similar concept. The car would be fine without the man. What I would say about this Airway is the interior is a bit weird, isn't it? What's with that weird handle?
Yeah.
Looks like a plane cockpit almost. A very minimal.
That's your thruster control.
Yeah, that's your anti-traffic jam control.
Maybe it is. Yeah. Maybe what you do is you pull the lever and then it goes up on stilts like the.
Yeah.
No,
and then you drive over the top of it.
Yeah. Or it releases loads of toxic gas. By the way, that blue tit's in this room again. Oh, it's gone now.
You've got blue tits in your room.
Yeah.
You should
Thought
be
some
so
toilet
lucky.
was a problem.
I think you need a BYD Pro EV. Anyway,
stop it.
have we got any performance figures?
So I don't know how much it's going to cost brand new, but apparently leasing it is €400 a month. It's got 335 kilometer range. It's about 208 miles. 93 top speed, 62, 0 to 62 miles an hour in 7.5 seconds. So they're not copying the performance.
No, it's not as fast as a Urus.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we like it?
No.
Yeah, I quite like it, actually.
That was very definite. Actually, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys are going to disagree with me.
I like it. I like it kind of.
You like it because I don't like it.
It's still got, like all Chinese things, it's still got a stupid name. So, fortunately, they didn't call it Pro EV E18964 like it's a washing machine, but it does still sound like a washing machine. I would like to, if there's any Chinese car manufacturers out there, I would like to offer my services to actually brand your product properly, so you can actually sell them in other places other than China. And I'm very cost effective, although I'm not a child, so only in my mind. Anyway, good news, China have made a almost unique car, albeit painted it the same colour as a Urus. And it has good wheels.
It's got very good wheels.
What can I say? I like the orange one's wheels rather than the yellow one's wheels, if I'm honest. And I really don't like the interior. Because it actually looks like the interior from a different car. So I don't really know why I feel like that, but that's the way it makes me feel. Anyway, we'll move on. Pirate Man. What is this?
Wow.
This is the Curtis.
Like a motherboard.
So, the Curtis have released the One. Curtis are an American ice manufacturer. They're renowned for their sort of custom build bikes. They've gone into a partnership with Zero Motorcycles.
I thought for a moment you were actually saying that they actually make ice. Sorry, my brain is not working. We're early this morning, aren't we?
Too early this morning. So yeah, they've gone into a partnership with Zero Motorcycles to produce the One, and yeah, it's pretty stunning.
That is the one. That is the one. There is not going to be another one. That is the one.
It is
that
quite something, isn't it?
That's the back grill.
Look.
It's very interesting.
It's
It
not.
looks like you built it out of the magazines that you subscribe to monthly.
Sorry?
It looks like one of those things that you build. You know, you get the magazines that are like.
Oh yeah. So what do they call them?
Artworks.
Yeah, where you basically have to build it one part at a time.
And then you have spending like 40 grand on some stuff. Right, amazing.
Well, that costs nearly as well. That would be half the price of this. So at the moment, you're looking at $83,800 US dollars.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's for the custom build limited edition. So they are doing a limited edition one of 15 only. So yeah, you're looking at 83 grand for that.
That's look cool though. Imagine putting up somewhere on that. Everyone would be looking, wouldn't they?
Well, no, they wouldn't be looking because they wouldn't hear you coming. You just arrive.
No, exactly.
It's me.
And then so people go, "Oh, where did that weird thing come from?"
Where did it come from?
But if you tag along to onto the burger menu, James, and then go to work of art.
Burger.
Sorry, no, build and reserve. I think it probably is. There you go.
Oh, wow.
This is the limited edition.
I really like that.
Limited to 15. And
I don't have to say I don't like that. That's a bit too pastel shaded for me.
Well, you can build your own version, but yeah, I mean, this is obviously a startup. Well, not so much a startup, but it's a reserve and build project. So yeah, if you want one of these, in particular the work of art, then you've got to put down a 30,000 non-refundable deposit.
Holy.
So even if they don't end up making it,
if it doesn't work, you basically lose 22 grand.
This sounds like a Ponzi scheme. No, but in all seriousness, I've never seen anything like. My eyes have never laid upon anything.
The scary thing is with this, right? One of my observations is in about 3 weeks, this same bike will be on Alibaba, and it will be £9,000, and that is the scary bit. But actually, overall, look, credit where credit's due. They've done something that looks absolutely incredible.
Incredible, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure why it looks like that, though. Do you get what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, brilliant. And then you go, why?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the kind of the style of of Curtis motorcycles. So even on their combustion engine versions, that they've gone for that sort of billet look, that it's a CNC machine from billet, and yeah, it looks pretty chunky.
Yeah. I love the one that this is called Opposite of Death. This film. So this is it going along, actually. Why that video isn't actually on the website that's selling it, I'm not sure. Unless I've missed something.
Matt Chambers, if you would like to test it out.
I admire these people who invent this stuff and go to the trouble of doing this. I think because he was obviously very excited about this and he's had it in his head for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's in this kind of sort of like a Mad Max meets Buck Rogers on a 1920s Volocette or something. It's
it's
just a weird machine.
Just close my window a second. The building, yeah.
But anyway, it is incredible. I still don't know if I want one. If I bought one, I probably wouldn't want to ride it. I think I'd actually go and put it in my kitchen or something.
Use it as a blender.
Yeah.
It does. It looks like a kitchen utensil. A Kenwood chef.
Looks like a spatula.
But also, why would you... let me hang on a second, right? These people are obviously cool motorcycle type people, right? That I don't really... I don't have long hair and look like I just got out of bed. But what is that helmet?
That helmet.
And that is one of the things with some of these rad-looking bikes is helmet design is not moving on. So, helmets have pretty much looked the same forever. And no one's doing anything cool with helmets, really, are they, that I'm aware of?
There's been a few Kickstarter projects which have kind of had a stab and then died rapidly. And I think probably the main reason for that is the amalgamation around them is trying to get them through, in the US in particular, through the Snell standards. But yeah, they've got some cool gimmicks in them.
Which is ironic with America, isn't it? That in half the country you can just ride around without one.
Without a helmet, yeah.
But to actually get a helmet through so that people can wear, it has to go through such tests that actually it's actually safer not to wear one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, fine. Do we like it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would love one. It would be on the dream list, but I think I'd probably wait for the £9,000 Chinese rip-off to come out.
Yeah, the magazine.
Mark, you're so cheap.
But then again, I mean, if you're spending this sort of money, then you would probably go for an electric version of an Arch. Yeah, be interested to see when that comes out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of money, isn't it? It's a bit, as you say, Buck Rogers meets Flash Gordon meets. I could actually imagine Brian Blessed like shouting at it. In fact, I'd almost like to get him to go and shout at one.
Shout at one, yeah, with a big fur coat on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Holding a staff.
But yeah, look. On balance, I think I like it in a kind of weird way. Not sure if I'd buy one.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like that one, the blue one.
Yeah,
but it's one of these things. I think you might get a bit over the top with it in ordering it, and then get it and go, oh, I don't really like it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And then you've kind of ruined it, haven't you, at that point. Which reminds me of a bloke.
In the garage forever.
That sometimes you can give people way too much personalisation. And I used to have a client who was a big Sheffield Wednesday fan. So, and he made some money and all the rest of it. So he then went out and bought a Bentley Continental GT convertible. Partly because he wanted to nail his bank statement to his garden fence, but actually he was allowed to personalise it. And some people shouldn't be allowed to personalise cars, because basically what he did was he made he had the car painted in Sheffield Wednesday blue, with a kind of almost fluorescent blue hood on it, with the interior bright yellow. But not just one shade of bright yellow, 3 different shades of bright yellow, depending on whether it was on the dashboard, the seats, or things, with blue piping around the seat. Literally, It looked like a colourblind maniac had gone into a sweet shop and gone, hey, I'm just going to pick every colour here. And I have a suspicion that these might go the same way, that people with A, too much money, and B, no taste, will be allowed to order
bad
them.
Combination.
Which is always a bad combination. So
that's how we got red trousers.
Probably. He probably did wear red trousers. I can't really remember. But what I can tell you is when he went to trade it in after 3 years, right? Bearing in mind it was nearly 200 grand, this car, right? When he went to trade it in, he was offered 28 grand. Basically, because the car dealer that offered him the 28 grand, it was the only person who offered it to him, basically said, I'm going to have to retrim it and repaint it and put a new roof on it. So basically rebuild it. So anyway, yeah, so like it, bit of a minefield, I think is my summary. And Mark's obviously just cheap.
Yeah, I'll wait for that.
So actually, when Mark trades his car in, do you know what car I'm expecting him to have?
Go on.
A BYD Yuan Pro EV. Because if you saw the Pirates car, it's not really very piratey. It's just shit. Is probably the best way of summarising it.
Steampunk.
I think that's overselling it. I think it's just the steam you've mistaken for the steam that comes out of it. Anyway, on to serious news. It's in the Daily Mail, so it must be true. Ministers to scrap taxpayer-funded £5,000 grants to electric car buyers. Weirdly, after an expert found that they didn't do anything to help the environment. Well, no
Who's this
shit,
expert?
Sherlock.
Probably their financial advisor.
The best bit about it is the next line on that article, which is amusing, is experts said it's only allowing rich families to buy a second car on the cheap.
But if you're rich, why do you need to...
Hang on a second, right? The stupidity of this editorial, and Daily Mail as usual, kind of a train goes past. The stupidity of this is that the Daily Mail thinks that rich people are buying EVs as second cars, right? Electric cars aren't cheap. If you want to buy a cheap car as a second car, don't buy a fucking EV. They're about 10 grand more at least than the next nearest petrol car. And if you've got it as a second car, the amount of money you spend in fuel is probably irrelevant. So, you know, what cars are they suggesting that rich families are buying? Because if you were rich, you'd buy something that made your neighbours look poor, wouldn't you? Isn't that half the problem with keeping up with the Joneses? You have to buy something that's better than your neighbours. You know,
you go out and buy a Curtis One in several different colour shades.
If you're rich, you go and buy something cool. You don't go out and buy a Mercedes EQA. It's like the world's dullest car. And if you want to buy a second car, buy a proper car. And if you're poor, you can buy some really cool shit for not very much money. So, which I don't believe any of these grants have encouraged rich people to go and buy EVs. Like, I don't believe any subsidy that's ever been given by a government has actually helped rich people in any way, shape, or form.
Anyway,
because
but just looking at the date on that, James, when it's published, I think it might be a bit out of date.
It is a bit out of date, but that came up in my latest news.
That's the Daily Mail for you. That's how far behind they are.
That came up as a notification on the Daily Mail today. That's why I brought it in. So, look, let's do a bit of time travel here, right? So, this was in 2013. You know, we've travelled in time. Are rich people buying bloody cars?
No, they're buying time machines.
What?
No, they're buying time machines.
They're buying time machines. So the government had spent 11 million on the subsidies. 11 million to the government is like them going out. They can go and fart and spend more than 11 million pounds. They probably spent 11 million pounds on the consultants who were going, oh, you know, rich people are buying these cars. So, rolling forward to today, do we think this has come true?
No, because there's loads of grants available now.
So, we have proved that the Daily Mail talks bollocks most of the time.
Yeah.
Most as being a bit
Back to a good
generous. I'd say probably all of the time.
Oh, come on, Mark. You know, your champagne socialism. Are you suggesting there are other newspapers out there that might be more balanced?
No.
Sorry, I must apologise to our watchers, but Mark is a champagne socialist who reads The Guardian and things like that. So he can't spell and he has no punctuation in anything. So hence why he became a pirate, so he could just be angry. And he's now moved to a town that has got the angriest people in Britain in.
No, it's the opposite, isn't it? They're all just walking around with their heads in the sky like, huh? Where am I?
They do smoke a lot of weed. That is true.
Yeah.
Devon and Cornwall police do a very good job of preventing it. I
think they've
to the
given
point
up.
you can actually walk down the high street and actually, you know, share spliffs all the way up the high street. Brilliant place. Sorry, this is obviously tourist advice.
So anyway, back to your boards.
Yeah, in summary, the Daily Mail talks bollocks, and nothing has changed, and rich people are not buying second cars because of grants. On the basis you can actually go and buy an MG, which actually brings us neatly to our car awards. Because you can actually go and buy an MG ZS, which is actually a thoroughly good EV for 21 grand.
21 grand.
Which, okay, isn't the 9 grand of the BYD Yuan Pro EV, but in UK terms, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and you won't get sued for copyright.
And you won't get, yeah.
You won't get...
or die or anything like that. Anyway, on to the awards. Marky Mark, do you want to introduce the awards?
Indeed. So we have the VoltsMonster's inaugural, very first ever 2021 EV Awards, sponsored by ZPN Energy. And, where do we want to kick off?
Why don't we start with probably, let's start with the interesting stuff. So maybe we start with the boats, bikes and other stuff. What have you got for us?
So on the best two-wheeler, we've gone for a pretty broad spectrum on the two-wheelers. So we're not keeping it to just motorcycles. We're looking at pedelecs and pedal cycles as well. So we've got some really good brands in here across a broad mix of different types of two-wheel vehicles. So the nominations are Fuel with their Fluid 1S, and we have Tromox with their Minnow, and Suron, inevitably, Suron have got to be in there with the LBX, and Persang with their E-Track, which is, pretty innovative and a rather nice ride, but slightly noisy through the chain problems that they have at the moment. And lastly, we have the Energica Eva Rebel RS, which is my personal favourite, and I think probably everyone else's as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit more mainstream than the Curtis we've just seen, but my God, it's good looking.
It is damn good looking.
I like that a lot.
I like it a lot.
And as far as e-bikes go, this is one of the nicest, and there's a few coming out, but the next one I expect to be pretty epic is the Triumph, but when it comes out. But that is a awesome bit of kit. And can I have one, please? But yeah, that is a very nice thing. What do you make of it, Jace? Obviously, you don't do anything else other than walk, so.
Yeah, never seen a vehicle in my life. Never had an opinion on them. I just keep my head to the floor while I'm walking around miserably, being a bus wanker. But I've no opinion on it really. I don't even. Confusing me. I didn't know there were vehicles with two wheels. I thought it was just all big buses and people. That bike looks absolutely insane. Great range, really aesthetic. Definitely a worthy winner of that category.
Okay, cool. Moving on, we're on to a boat now, aren't we, Mark?
Well, we're going to go
which is
for
right
innovation.
up your street because you're a pirate.
Well, we've got two boats on here and also a manufacturer. So this is the Innovation Award. Neo have got in there just for their innovation, and what they're doing is completely groundbreaking. Can't wait to see them in the UK and in Europe. And on the boat side, just for the innovation and tech side, we've got the Exshore Elex 8000, which is just absolutely gorgeous, and RS Boats, which is more of a rib-based version with their Pulse 63. Both electrically powered, but the Exshore is innovative in as much as that a lot of the components are made from either recycled materials or classifications of hemp in there as well. So hemp GRP.
So you can smoke it as well if all goes wrong.
You can, bonus.
So who was the winner there?
And the winner there is the Elex 8000.
Awesome, from Exshore. It's on screen now. It is epic. And you can smoke it. And it's made of recycled materials in a way that an iDi3 isn't. So that's always good. So I bet when you go and buy...
That is how to use recycled materials.
Yeah, as opposed to when you go into VW and they go, The only bonus to owning an ID3 is it's made out of recycled plastic bottles, and that's why it feels shit. I have to say the X-Short is epic. It's 100 nautical miles of range and 35 knots top speed is pretty thing, and it looks good on the water. I like that. You know that old saying, if it looks right, it flies right. It flies the guy
right. Yep.
who designed the Spitfire, or someone said that. I think the same thing applies to cars and boats and stuff like that, and I think that is a very nice thing.
Yeah, and it just goes to show the advancements being made in EV tech as well. Is that I spoke to a well-known rib manufacturer recently that's based locally, and tried to convince them that, or ask if they were looking at electric models.
And I bet, hang on, Mark. I bet they went, no, we could just do petrol.
Exactly, that's
or
it.
Words
and
to
they
that
said,
effect.
and then added to the electric's not quite there yet. Well, I think you're onto a loser, guys, because there it is. That's the future.
That is the future. It has arrived. And do you know what? Some things that are at the leading edge are often just a bit shit, aren't they? So, like the first iPhone. Well, actually all iPhones, but...
Don't start on your Apple bashing.
Right? They were a bit shit, right? Well, look, we all accept all iPhones before about 10 or 11 were shit, right? They all caught fire, the batteries were shit, software died, they use those stupid cables that never work. Every person who's got an Apple moans about the cable dying. Am I not wrong?
I never had any problem with any iPhones.
You're the exception.
I just dropped them.
Go out. Right? Like, things that are on the leading edge are often a bit poor, right? That is actually really quite good.
It is, yeah.
As are a lot of the other things that have won awards. Jason, have you ever seen a boat?
I've heard about them in books. And
well, hang on a second, Jason. You sit in an office that looks out over the sea, so you must have seen at least one boat.
No, I don't look up.
Dear, oh dear. Well, what would Anus think of it?
She'd say, "Oh, that's nice."
Okay.
Yeah. I think it looks great. It looks like a mix between a army boat, like a little patrol boat, and a drug smuggling boat.
It does look very similar to the boat that was it. That reminds me, actually. Was it Apocalypse Now? How do I spell apocalypse? My brain is just not working this morning. There you go. It looks kind of similar to that.
I like it.
So that was it. Oh, hang on. Where are we going now? So yeah, it looks sort of similar to that.
Looks sick. Like fire.
Anyway, X-Shore, good job. You Scandinavians, you're good at that sort of stuff, aren't you? They make pretty boats. They always have done. Right, anyway, moving on. Next award.
Rising Star Award.
Let's go for the Rising Star. Do you want to bash off on that one, Jason?
Yeah.
Don't encourage him to bash off on things. It's hard enough keeping him focused.
Huh? So anyway, next up we've got Rising Star Awards, and we have two nominees for this, which are Nikolai. Their incredible work with
who?
Nikolai. Nicola, okay? Or just doing absolutely incredible with their trucks, looking insane and great range and all that good stuff.
But it's hydrogen technology, which is, there's a lot of debate about whether we can make hydrogen cleanly enough. But I think inevitably hydrogen will be involved in all HGV travel, one way or another.
What about it makes it not clean?
Because there's only a certain number of ways you can make. The only way you can make green hydrogen is by separating water atoms hydrogen and oxygen cleanly, and that takes more energy to produce it than it does to. So it works quite good as an energy store. So let's say you've got a wind farm and there's no demand. What you can actually do is the wind farm can generate electricity all the time, so you don't have to turn them off, and then you store the energy as hydrogen rather, because it's quite difficult to store battery power in a sort of unlimited quantity. The other way that you make sort of hydrogen is by splitting other compounds, so something like ammonia. So you basically split ammonia, and then but then there's negative byproducts of carbon dioxide and other stuff from that. So there's a chemistry lesson for you.
Something more though, because majority of how physics works in the universe that we live in, you can't get more energy than you put in. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes, and whether or not they find it a viable option.
Yeah, so we'll see. So who won the award?
So we've got Nicola with a K, and the winner is Neo for making incredible vehicles, smashing the barriers of what's possible with the range, and just exciting us.
But Neo have got that pioneered the battery swap robot, haven't they? So
you know, at least they're trying to get rid of the range anxiety, and what better way than just popping somewhere, waiting 5 minutes, the whole system gets swapped, and if they do that successfully as well, I could see them really taking over a lot of places, because again, range anxiety is a big issue for us with EVs, and the quicker that goes, the quicker we can move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Next, Mark, we've got another one for you, which is I believe it's the Get It to Europe Now award. Which the background to this is there is a lot of stuff out there that's really good. We don't always get it in the UK, but we also don't get it in Europe. So what's the Get It to Europe Now award nominees?
Nominations for Get It to Europe Now, we have Neo with their ES6, Neo we mentioned earlier. Then we have another two-wheel variation, the Damon Hypersport, and we have Rivian and their RT1.
Which I like these again a lot.
I do.
They are very nice.
I like them. I like that kind of futuristic, minimalistic, but still trucky look to it. I think they've done quite well with that.
And they've designed it from the point of view of actually being able to go off road. And you know, like when you look at this,
need no stinking phone calls. We got work to do.
You know,
we got an email.
We
want 2 electric vehicles to film this amazing series, Long Way Up. We want you to be a part of it.
What are we up to?
Probably ended up just enjoying being out there.
6,600? There we go.
This is brilliant.
I like in particular the add-on of the kitchen sink and
yeah, absolutely,
the bit that slides out. That's
I'll see if there's a
fantastic.
picture of it.
It's brilliant. It's so adaptable.
There you go. This thing here, which comes out the side.
Yeah.
And just being able to rock up in your truck with the tent on the back and pop up, then yeah, that's just amazing.
I think it's a very cool thing, and they make it also as not as a redneck pickup. They also make it as a SUV as well. So it is a beast of a thing. One of the things about it is how big the battery is and how likely we are to actually be able to charge it in the UK. So they do offer vegan leather in it, which is basically plastic, and but the interesting thing is it is vegan leather with performance stitching. Quite what that means, I'm not really sure. I suspect they allowed someone in their marketing department a little bit too much latitude.
Yeah.
But anyway, awesome truck. Bring it to the UK, and can I have one? Is the simple thing. I have tried to order one, but they won't let me because I'm in the wrong place. But it is epically good. So, what else can we say about it?
We can announce the winner of what we're talking about.
No, we'd already done that, which was the Rivian RT1.
Your words, this is the winner. We just started loving it.
It is amazing. And it also does something which no other manufacturer does, and the boss of Land Rover's crying in his beer still, that it does a tank turn, i.e. it turns in its own length, which is pretty impressive. Anyway, we need to move on. Lots more awards to get through. Next one, Mark and I, it means a lot to us because we both have dogs. It's called the Best for Fido Award. There was literally 2 nominations for this because there wasn't any cars that were dog friendly. It's sort of in the way of if you put your dog in the boot, it really wouldn't work very well. Okay. You know, the Best for Fido nominations are at opposite ends of the spectrum. One is 20 grand, one is 120 grand. And that is the Porsche Taycan Turismo, which is pretty epic, but also the MG5. And the winner is the MG5.
Woo!
And you know why? This is one of the awards I actually, you know, we did. There was no debate about it, right? No. It is not it's not the most interesting car on earth. It is because it's actually a Rogue something or other in which is the sort of spin-off brand out of Rover from back in the day. It looks like a car. Like if an alien arrived from space and it arrived, they'd go, that's a car.
That's a car.
But for the money, every Uber driver in London probably is buying one of these. I can't believe they're not. Because if you need to do 150 miles a day, driving round and round and round in circles, that is the car to do it.
That's the car.
And if you've got a dog, there is no other EV. Even the Turismo is a bit cramped in the back. You could get 2 bloody Great Danes in the boot of that, and you'd be absolutely fine. And well done to MG, who have literally slapped themselves right underneath all the mainstream manufacturers. And it proves you do not have to spend a lot of money. It comes with a 7-year warranty. It does 214 miles of range. It's got tons of kit on it. It's like a no-brainer.
They've definitely thrown the gauntlet down with that one, haven't they? That's just drop the mic, boom, there you go.
Yeah, we even had the discussion that this should win the EV award, the overall award, because of value, principally because it proves you don't need to spend £37,000 on a car to get your family around. And that proves that the Daily Mail back in 2013 were completely wrong because someone came along and sold one for 20 grand, which is the same price as any other car. So, top marks to MG. Your award is on its way and well deserved. So, moving on, we go into a bit of a group of awards, which are city EV, family EV, small EV, executive EV. In fact, we just found every possible niche that we could find because none of them quite fit into natural slots because some of the manufacturers have been a bit niche-like with their things. So rather than go through every nomination on here, because we'll be on here for hours, what I think we should do, boys, is actually just announce the winners, and then obviously the nominations are all going out on social media.
We've posted those already on the nominations. So
the nominations are already out there. So to announce the best large EV, what did we choose?
We've gone for the Mercedes EQC,
which is on the screen now. There you go. There it is. With, I have to say, one of the nicest wheels on an EV anywhere.
100%. Almost remind me of.
The only thing I will say about this car is bloody hell, it's a lot of money. And and when Mercedes say it's from 65 grand, you know when you actually buy one that you'd actually want to drive, it will be about 20 grand more than that.
You're going to be looking at 85, yeah.
Which is a lot of money, but it is actually the only EV I've driven which I think I could put up with rather than my Range Rover. So that's quite
Oh, your new one. Your new EV.
Well, the new EV aside, I mean, like as in from a comparative car,
Yeah.
if you like.
Oh, it's good looking.
Shall we tell Avi that his car just won an award?
Maybe.
Let's see what he says.
He's gonna write back now. Say, I own an MG. What car is this, my friend? I don't have this car. No, not assuming where he's from or anything. That was just a random accent, just in case anyone wants to jump into that.
One.
I think it's me, WMV, with my friend MP4.
There you go. I'd let him know. You think, Avi? Well, I wonder how he'll respond. We'll monitor that one. It would just be interesting to see what
he comes back with. Yeah,
Anyway, moving on. Best executive car, which actually is not such a surprise.
Because it is a
Jaguar I-Pace.
Yeah, which we now have. We've got a Jaguar I-Pace, so we're checking it out. So follow our story as we move on through living with it. So far, I've done about 250 miles. It's pretty easy to live with, and I haven't even got a proper charger fitted yet. I'm using the little cheap one that comes with the car, and it's actually doing all right. So it is a bit disconcerting when you plug it in. It tells you it takes 16 hours to charge it. But what I am learning is that I spend less time driving my car than I do sort of anything else. So actually, it's not the end of the world. So anyway, let's move on. Best small EV.
Small EV. Yep.
Mark, what's won that?
We have Kia and their Soul.
Now the Kia Soul is a car that does. Oops, I should go back to Mercedes, so I've used the same thing. So hopefully Avi will be there.
Avi's gone.
No, he'll pop up in a sec.
Anyway, we'll go here.
Oh my God.
So the Kia Soul is a Marmite car, I think is probably the best way of describing it. But
You've got your eyes closed.
Do you know what? I don't mind it, but people get like really, really like uptight about it. And interestingly, can you see that Auto Trader has given it the Best Value Electric Car Award of 2021?
I've received
Interesting.
It's 32 grand.
What happened to the MG?
What? Who paid them money? Auto Trader, what planet do you live on? That is not the best value EV at all. Obviously, well done to Kia for actually winning an award that it doesn't actually deserve. But actually, it's a really good car, and it actually should win an award, just not that one.
Not that one.
You know, decent. It's got decent range, decent size battery, massive long warranty. You know, whatever. It's a good thing.
It looks like a club foot though.
Okay, cool. Thoroughly deserved.
Who's Josh?
Your replacement. Thoroughly deserved.
You got to give me a week's notice. By law.
Well, I have to get of sorts. No
seen
one.
your ass.
Who said I hadn't already given you notice?
You have not given me notice. You have not given me notice.
He did.
I'd be known right now.
Well, he had his finger.
Mark witnessed it.
Again, Mark witnesses whatever you tell him to witness. He's on your payroll, mate.
You're all on my payroll. You know I love you.
Not
Right.
anymore.
Anyway, we need to get on with this. Kia Soul, would you buy one?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would. That's brilliant. It's done an amazing job, and they definitely deserve the award we've given them.
Yeah. I don't think they deserve the best value electric car award,
Not
though.
the best value, no.
Stop bribing on them.
Anyway, but maybe they've sent they were sent maybe a large check to Auto Trader for some adverts or something. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
They just so there's a donation.
That's a terrible aspersion on journalism, isn't it? That they would change their view based on checks.
Envelope.
Anyway, so next up, best family EV.
We've got the Vauxhall and Mocha.
Actually, I don't mind the new Mocha. I used to think the old one looked like a granny wagon, a bit like an EcoSport, but the new one in the right colour can look quite cool.
Yeah.
That's quite nice.
If it's in a dark colour or a bit of a radical colour, I think they can look pretty cool with this whole black grille thing going on. And, Vauxhall have had a bit of a tough time with people not being very nice about them. But actually, it's a really good family car. I have driven it a very small amount, and actually, it's nicely finished inside. It's better than anything else in the PSA range that it's based on. So I think it's well deserved, and it starts at sensible money, like 21 grand if it's petrol. If it's electric, it gets a bit more expensive, but it's really not a bad car. And as usual, Vauxhall will probably sell it with some really good financing deals. So well deserved.
If they made a Nova EV, do you remember back in the day?
Yeah.
Vauxhall Nova? That would be so sick. Kind of like the Honda E style.
Well, Vauxhall did recently make a Mark 1 Manta as an EV, and it looks pretty cool. So, but anyway, we'll move on. Best City EV. What won there, Mark?
We've got the Renault Zoe.
The Zoe. Well, the Zoe is an interesting one. So, best city EV. If you are buying an EV and you live in a city, actually, the Zoe isn't a bad shout because it does everything that it says on the tin. It's the right sort of money. It's everything's made of plastic. So if you bounce into anything and drive like a Parisian, it's fairly impervious. They are quite a lot of money, but they are quite good. So it's kind of one of those things that Renault do quite well occasionally. So top marks for that. Well-deserved award. Only fly in the ointment is that Renault have developed, as in Dacia, or Dacia, or however you want to say it, they have developed a thing called a Spring. It's not coming to the UK, even though it's basically a Zoe, because it's half the price. And Renault are concerned that their sales will be damaged by it. No shit, Sherlock. But the Dacia Spring is would have really driven on that budget end of the market, and obviously put the Daily Mail to bed about rich people buying EVs. Next car, best range. Now this was properly tight in terms of who would win this, but overall, Mark, I think the right car won, and it's
overall,
a standout
definitely,
new car.
Yeah, most definitely, and it's certainly a standout. So it's the Ford Mustang's Mach-E.
Here we go. So if you don't know what that is, where has it gone? I think this ticks a lot of boxes. Stop bloody pop-ups. So, as you can see, mid-range money, super fast, really good range. So on 10 minutes of charge, you can get 73 miles. That's
pretty impressive.
Dave, actually, this is kind of next-gen EV. It's sort of, you can live with this on a daily basis. And I particularly like it in that blue colour.
It's really good that you can get 70 miles out of the time it'll take you to just sit down and have a coffee.
Exactly. So that's pretty good. So literally, if you just drank coffee all the way up the M4, every other service station, job done.
Yeah. You're gonna need a pest doing that anyway.
You would
Yeah,
need a
so,
wee. That is very true.
You'd have to have a driver bag.
It is a, I can tell you a story about my wife's stepfather who decided that he needed a poo whilst driving down the M4.
Oh no.
So, with his family in the car, had a poo in a carrier bag and threw it out of the window.
No.
Welcome to VoltsMonster's TV Awards with me, Jason, James, and Mark talking about poo.
If it was at Swindon, I'd say it was well deserved.
No, it was in Reading.
Oh, even better.
And the best bit about it is, he was
I hope it didn't hit the wind turbine there on next to the M4.
The best bit about it was, I think he was a serving policeman at the time. So, what can I say? Anyway, that's a story allegedly that I was told. I believe it's true. And having met him, I actually don't doubt that it's true. Anyway, moving on.
The question is, was he driving?
That's the point. Right. So, moving on. Most anticipated EV, which was actually, there is some new second generation EVs coming and from different manufacturers. The winner of this is a prime example of how the market is moving on. So, Mark?
We've got the Hyundai Ioniq 5.
No, it's not iconic.
Ioniq.
Oh, no, I've fallen into the trap. You've cursed us.
It's a trap. I've cursed you. Yeah, Ioniq. I can't even say it. Hyundai Ioniq 5. Brilliantly difficult to say, particularly if you're a bit tired or stupid. Pick your ailment. The reason this is good, in my view, is that it's a second-gen car. It's 800 volts. It charges super fast. Its range is really good. It's fast, and actually, as far as the as Hyundai go, they've actually built a car that you kind of look at and go, oh.
Oh, very nice.
It's obviously sistered with the Kia 6 because they couldn't possibly give them the same number. But while I wait for the internet to catch up with itself. Obviously, Auto Express like it a lot. But that is it. It's kind of modern, funky. They've moved. Hyundai are doing this thing where they're moving their badges off their grills and onto their bonnets and onto their glass, which is an interesting design change. But if you're a bit of a car geek, but yeah, I like this sort of weird lines around the wheel arches. I don't really know why.
They really look like they're from the future.
Yeah, so it does look like someone made some effort, and actually the wheels aren't bad for EV wheels.
They suit the lines that they with the car.
I love this that Hyundai dominates the 2021 awards in Auto Express. It must be said. We are giving it an award as well, but we're giving it the most anticipated because it is literally about just landing now. So, and it is pretty epic. So, credit where credit's due. Well done, Hyundai. Award is in the post. You can now put a VoltsMonster badge next to that to look like someone else has an opinion. Oh, and actually on that point, if you are a car manufacturer and you've won an award, you will receive a letter with and an email with all of the download links and everything for all of the creatives ready to load onto your website.
Yeah.
Next one, which there was some award, there was some how can you put it? There were some nominations for best looking EV. And my God, were there some challenges?
There's some good lookers there, definitely.
You know, for example,
I'm not going to say the Neo again.
Um,
And we were deciding that, and I kept saying Neo EP9 over and over again.
so, for example,
this is just gorgeous. The totem.
there was this, right? And we're not talking about other nominations apart from this, because actually it gives me that sort of feeling where I just want to stroke it and the car. There is so many things I like about this. I even like the spaghetti junction thing of the cables that you're not supposed to lick. I like the interior. It is epic.
Isn't it?
The only reason this hasn't won the award is because it is a bit retro. Clearly it's old. But
It's not possibly accessible either, is it, really?
yeah, it's a few $100,000. We won't talk about that. But I would like one. And then you go to this, for example. And you kind of go, oh, I feel a bit unnecessary. What is there not to like about this? Right?
Apart from the price.
Yeah, it's a few $100,000. But I'll have one, please.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God. I don't know what to say. It's like there was quite a few nominations in this.
Yeah, it was a difficult one.
It was difficult.
Really difficult.
But the winner
is Lotus
What?
Avija.
Well,
Come on, you Brits.
come on, Lotus, speed your website up.
That's how you focus on a show.
Like, it isn't often you go, like, that sort of gives me the feeling of when I was about 11 and I was looking at cars and going, like, when you had that sort of Lamborghini poster on your wall and the picture of the woman scratching her ass. That is a sort of similar type of car porn, isn't it?
Most definitely.
I could just sit and look at it and credit where credit's due. Talk about pull it out the bag, Lotus. After a few years in the doldrums, my God, they're back.
They smashed it, yeah.
So Ferrari, if you want to know how to make a car look really nice, there you go. What a car. So it's kind of one. Look at it. It's just, oh, there's a button I can press. Oh no, there's music. Look at that.
So we know what James's next car is going to be then, don't we?
Oh no, I've played it again. Look, seriously.
But how pleased must the designer of that car be feeling to actually sort of been design us a car that looks good, and they actually buy it and take it rather than just like, nah, I don't like that.
I can tell you something about Lotus, right? The guy who designed that, right, is the guy who designed most of the recent Lotuses, right? Do you know he left school without a single qualification?
There you go.
And he
Fantastic.
told his careers advisor, because we used to have those back in the day, You'd have these careers advisors. They were basically people who'd never had a job in their life.
And just wanted to put you on a YTS.
Yeah, they go. You go, so what do you want to do? And you go, I'd like to be an astronaut. And they go, no. You need to work in a sewage plant.
Yeah, we got a YTS road digger scheme.
Yeah, or we've got a YTS road sweeping job, right? And actually, that happened to that kid, right? And he sat there and said, no, I want to be a car designer.
Fantastic.
And they said, go and work at the sewage plant, quite literally. And he worked his arse off. And that is what you can achieve if you believe. And I think that's a brilliant story to the kids of today. And top marks, Lotus. Epic. You're back. I hope you sell millions of the fucking things and they don't break down. Because I have owned a Lotus and it wasn't the most
I've heard about
robust car. Let's just say that. And but God, it was epic.
Yeah.
And the only other Lotus that I wanted to own and I couldn't own because A, my feet are too large and B, I'm too tall, is I always wanted a Lotus Esprit Turbo and I never managed to own one because I can't actually drive one. Which is, I can't tell you how frustrating it is to be, you know, effectively disabled that I can't actually get in a car. So it's very annoying. So, but
are you big for the car?
I'm too tall, my feet are too large, the pedals are too close together, my arms are too long. It is hilarious. The only other Lotus that I can't get in and out of is an Exige. Once I get in, I can't get back out through the roll cage. And it actually took me an hour and a quarter once to get out of one. Because I couldn't get back out through the roll cage because I couldn't quite bend my head at the right angle. So, but hopefully I can get in it and hopefully I can drive it. So Lotus, please can I drive one? I've so wanted one. And I love it. So anyway, let's move on. Best budget EV. And there's another surprise coming here, I believe, Marky Mark.
It was indeed, yeah. And on the nominations on this one, we actually had two nominations from the same staple in the lineup. So,
one car manufacturer has won 2 awards.
How
did that happen? Did they send us a big check?
No, they didn't, because we're not like other traders out there.
Really?
We did it purely on merit.
So come on then. I'm bated breath. I want to know.
It's the MG ZS.
Another MG?
Oh yes.
Well, actually, funnily enough, in this category, there was 2 MGs nominated.
It was indeed.
Because they are just bloody good value. And if you're going to talk about the best budget EV, Auto Express, it is not a Kia Soul, right? It can't possibly be, because the Kia Soul is £17,000 more for the same spec. And that is, the winner is the MG ZS, and deservedly so. It's, if you just want a really good family EV, right, that does everything it says on the tin for 20-something grand, right, I cannot actually see the justification of spending any more. Like, literally, if you're buying something like an i3, you're an idiot, right? Because actually what you should be doing is probably buying the MG ZS and putting your children through private school so they're more intelligent than you.
Yeah, stop being selfish. Just bloody buy the cheap car.
Because, like, for 17 grand, you can put your kid into private school for a year. Yeah. And so I have some left over, probably go on a holiday as well. So, literally, it is such good value. I cannot tell you. It's well spec'd, it's well built, it's a bit cheap around the edge. You can see it's built to a price, but you know, the i3 is made out of plastic bottles, for God's sake. Really well deserved.
Yeah, does the job.
We're on to the last 2, which is performance EV and best EV, sponsored by ZPN Energy. Best performance. Mark?
We've got Porsche and the Taycan C2.
And the question you're all asking is why the C2 and not the C4? I can hear you asking. You need to fucking ask the question, boys.
Why the C2 and not the C4, James?
Exactly. Brilliant. The reason for the C2 over the C4, and having driven the Taycan, and it is epic, is quite simply, if you're going to have a Porsche, you want to be able to drift it. And the only Taycan you can drift, or in fact the only EV you can drift, is the Taycan C2, because it's rear-wheel drive. It's lighter, and with the performance pack, it's faster. So you kind of end up with a more fun car for less money, because it's 77 grand instead of starting price of over 90. And if you have any spec on it, you know, you're talking about a C4 being 120 grand. So you can get I would go and buy a C2, I would basically put some nice wheels on it, because the basic wheels are horrible. Put some nice wheels on it, get a performance pack on it, and extended battery life pack, whatever you call it, and just a couple of other little tweaks like that. And for under 85 grand, you will have a car that you will absolutely love driving, without question. So, and in that kind of performance range, really good value for money.
Definitely.
So that's really good consumer advice. So basically, the consumer advice is probably buy an MG ZS or a Taycan C2. So, but anyway, that isn't the decision. But anyway, the best EV sponsored by ZPN Energy. Drum roll. What is that noise? Sounds like Jason just felched himself.
I think before we announce the winner, then we should say a little bit about the awards themselves. We hope that these awards are the first ever, we think, sustainable EV awards. They're actually 99% recycled materials from ICE vehicles, and even the name plaques themselves, or the award plaques, are engraved from aluminium, which is recyclable, and all the packaging is recycled and recyclable as well. So yeah, and the awards have been designed and manufactured from recycled materials and manufactured by Hubcap Creatures.
Is he a local guy? I can't remember where he is.
Can't quite remember. Okay. Can't remember.
Good job, you're on the ball. So the awards, yeah, they've come up very well actually, and they're all about to go out in the post. And so any of you manufacturers out there who see a box like this turn up, whatever, this has got your reward in it, and you do need to keep it this way up, because it will be dangerous.
Explosive dangerous or anything weird like that. Just gotta say, looks like it was gonna explode if it was the wrong way up. Not blowing your mind.
You do that. You do that daily,
every day,
Jason. Every day I get up and my mind gets split a little bit further apart.
Good.
So, we need to focus, boys.
Let's focus. Should we announce?
Who's doing the announcement? Me? Are we letting Jason do it?
Go on, Jason. You have a go.
Jason,
sorry.
Announce the award for the best EV.
Electric vehicle sponsored by ZPN Energy goes to the Honda E.
Ooh. The Honda E. The Honda E is
Honda, hitting it.
Is cute. And
it is.
The
reason,
it was a difficult choice, and you know, people ask us. I've been asked this a few times already. Why did we choose the Honda E? The Honda E stands out for a lot of reasons, and having driven it, one, it's really good to drive. It's really well put together, as all Hondas are. But also within Honda, they are doing some stuff which is really good. Oh, hang on.
And it's not a bad place to be to say stuck.
Just bear with me a second. My phone is ringing, which I'm trying to get rid of.
Hello.
It's you ringing me. Yeah, so I've been asked this a lot about the Honda E, and the Honda E is really cute, and it does so many things very well. Yeah, the range is a bit limited, but for what it's designed for, which is city use, it's epic. It's like, if you were being really car geeky about it, the visibility around it's really good, all that sort of stuff. The self-parking thing is so clever, almost to the point of being a bit disturbing, but really, really good. The fit and finish of it, and do you know what? It just looks so damn cute. It is like cute. WALL-E, isn't it? It's like it's got that anime Japanese robot thing going on, and just does really well. And one of my frustrations with Honda is they do like granny wagons at one end, like the Honda Jazz, which are just dull as dishwater, and then at the other end they do really clever, innovative stuff like the Honda E and the and like training shoe type cars like the Type R Civics, which are just completely out there, brilliant at what they do, in the NSX and stuff like that. And then they do the CRV, and you kind of go, how did you manage to produce that and that? So they're often, the thing with Honda is it always feels like contradictions, but the Honda E is really well thought out, really nice to drive, really engaging, really cute to look at. Every time you look at it, you sort of go, gives you a nice little feeling. It ticks so many boxes in so many ways that you just sort of go, bloody hell, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
And that's the reason it's won. And Honda, if your next car is anywhere near as good as it, you will sell millions of them. And it is, as a first stab at an EV, really, really well deserved. And so, top marks, and I can't fault it at all. So that is the awards. So, and we are at the end of this show of VoltsMonster Interactive. Special show. If you like it, subscribe. If you want more notifications, we've added more content, press the notification bell. And then, of course, if you like what we do, put comments below. If you don't like what we do, put comments below. And do you know what? We might like them. And actually, someone called me a knob the other day, and I agree. So it's part of the job.
So do we.
Yeah, they agree as well. You've got a lot of fans. So the more calling me a knob is well deserved. So I take it as a medal.
A knob medal.
and on that note,
that's on your Christmas list now.
Yeah, why not?
And again, congratulations to all the winners. Really well deserved.
Yeah,
Deserved.
And thank you to the team here for pulling this together, because it has actually been a lot of work to do, and I don't think anyone really appreciated how much work it was going to be when we started. But it's not over yet, because the awards are still to be collected, and Jason has still not managed to get them collected by the courier.
I'm gonna have to stop this in a second. I'm running out of hard drive space.
Okay. Well, anyway, one last thing is there are some special mentions out of the awards, which I'd just like to mention, and principally they are to MG in Exeter, who have been so accommodating of us going in and out all the time, and Lee and the team, top marks for customer service. I've seen the way you behave with customers, top mark.
Yeah.
Mercedes Exeter, the girls on reception, the sales staff, super on it, very focused on their product, doing this customer service I can't really fault compared to some places we've been. And obviously to Lexus for having the most comfortable dealership. So if you're out and about, want a free drink, go and sit in a Lexus dealer and they'll give you free drinks, and the seats are very comfy. And one last mention, the VW i3 didn't win an award. Surprise, surprise. We were going to give it a wooden spoon. But do you know what? It's
Didn't
not
even
even
use
worth
that.
making a wooden spoon, and it wouldn't be recycled enough. So, to VW,
Gordon now.
your report card unfortunately says must try harder.
Let's try harder, definitely.
And on that note, press subscribe, hit the ding dong. Marky Mark, are
See you
out
next
of
time,
here?
guys.
And Jason,
No problem me saying I've just run out of space and it stopped recording.
what a knob.
This is that.
That's the second knob medal of the day.
And on that note, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See you later, guys. Take care.